What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chaos. My name is Brad. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and I made it my mission to help you guys own it. It is going to be another great day of earnings reactions. I can't wait. Meta Platforms is going to be reporting here after hours. We also have Roku, Waste Management, Teladoc, eBay, among so many others. And so if you guys want me to react to this, make sure you're putting your favorite stock that's reporting this afternoon in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about what it's going to do. Are you in? Are you out? Let me know. Before we get into anything else, though, let me welcome my starting five: Kevin Hawthorne, GMC Boom, Shane Haley, Ralph Vandenhoek, and Savvy Money Show. Thanks for putting the right Savvy Money in the right Savvy account in there, Savvy Money Show, for my own sanity. I appreciate you. Guys, if you missed the starting five, it could be because you're not subscribed and hitting that notification bell and getting here early. Be the first five, be one of the first five to show up, and you just might get the shout out in the next stream. So make sure you guys are doing that. All right, looking at the market so far, the S&P 500 is down 0.5%, sitting down 19 points. The Dow is down 257. NASDAQ's up 0.5%, 0.4. We'll say 0.4%, which is far lower than we saw at the peak. And that is on the heels of Microsoft's monster earnings, as well as Alphabet coming in and delivering. So can Meta do the same? That's going to be the question that we get answered this afternoon. But checking out the Russell 2000, that's down 1%. The crude oil closed down the day at $74 a barrel. That's down nearly 4%. So oil is coming down. Very interesting to see that movement there. As we know, though, it's always super volatile. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Bitcoin also taking a huge dump, really kind of like in the last couple of minutes. It was up. It looks like it was up around over 30,000 or near 30,000. It's still up a lot. Let's not diminish that. It's up around 2.79%, but it was up like 6% earlier. It's only up now around 767 points. It was up around 1,300. So that's sitting at 28,312 per Bitcoin. So very interesting move on that. But the tech market overall has been a bit nuts. Here's your NASDAQ right now on the weekly chart. And as I'd mentioned, you know, this is something that I really wanted to see happen. I wanted to see some sort of pullback. We saw some 3 weeks of just monster moves. And so this is your weekly chart on the NASDAQ. I'm kind of happy about this. You can see the nice little trend that we got going on. We look at the S&P 500, same story here, and this just looks nice and organized. I want to see more of this. So could we see some more downward movement from the S&P 500? I think it's certainly possible. I think a test of 4,000 on the S&P 500 makes all the sense in the world, and we'll see if that actually comes to fruition. Today's down day seems to be a healthy pullback. So I don't want people to get discouraged. I don't want people to get scared or nervous. I think that this is actually good for the markets, especially considering on the S&P 500, we had 5 weeks of green in a row. Give me a red week or two, right? Give me some, make some healthy moves in the market. So I'm happy about that. You look at the Russell, same kind of thing. Although the Russell has not made the same type of performances, I could stand to see this turnaround. We'll see what the Russell does. The IWM here, 1725. As I'd mentioned, it was down around 1% today. So I don't know. We'll see. But listen, the big headline today is going to be Meta Platforms. Meta Platforms has been on an absolute tear since the beginning of the year, really since October. This is Monday, October 31st. Meta Platforms was sitting at $89. Today it's going to close around $209. That's over a 100% move since then. Wow. Since the beginning of the year, Meta Platforms has moved 68% year to date. Over the last 52 weeks, it's up 12%. I mean, that is just crazy. Over the last 6 months, it's up 61%. But that year-to-date number is nuts. You know what's even crazier? It's that's still only trading at 21 times next year's earnings. Here's what we need to look at. The theme of the year for Meta Platforms has been the year of efficiency. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but I wanted to kind of catch some of the comments here. Boogla Brown is looking forward to Meta. Lord Fender says, don't worry, your red weeks are coming. Yeah, you've been saying that for a while now. I know they're coming, man. You've been saying that for a while, though. Good day, amigo. Did you scoop up some end phase? I did not. We can take a look at end phase. Let's take a look at what that. I mean, it was brutal. End phase. Yeah, brutal day. Down 26%. This is unjustified. It's oversold. It's definitely a dip, a buy the dip event. But as I said yesterday, I said wait to look at potentially buying a dip on this for a while. I think maybe another day or two of trading before you get all the panic sellers out, and then look to see if this actually levels out. I think that I could stand to see end phase come and test around 150. Watch that 150 mark, but there is a zone, one of Don's zones down here around $120 a share. So not to scare anybody, but that's on the table, I think. Even though it's sitting at 162 right now, I think that 120 could potentially be on the table. It is a highly valued stock. But the growth is still ridiculous. This move down is ridiculous, to be honest with you. But we can't shout out the market. We got to look and see what it is. So we'll keep an eye on that. Spirit has earnings today. Yes, we can keep an eye on Spirit too. But I mean, what are we going to hear from Spirit that we don't already know, or that we already haven't seen from the other airlines? And that's going to be the big question. We can of course react to Spirit Airlines, but I don't think that we're going to see much out of them. But getting back to Meta Platforms, this is going to be the theme here is going to continue to be efficiency. To me, again, this is your weekly chart. We'll get into the 5 minutes as we get closer to the close. But this is your weekly chart. It's insane. The moves is nuts. Meta did announce that they're going to be laying off more workers, though. And so I think that's going to be something that we need to, obviously, of course, keep an eye on. But this kind of ties into the year of efficiency. So they cut more than 20,000 workers since October. That's going to impact their profit margins, which is one reason why the stock has been going up. There's been a lot of other reasons. They beat earnings last time around. This time around, they're expected to come in on earnings at what the hell? Seeking Alpha's not giving me those numbers. Are they expected to come in flat? That's not right. Let me check on Yahoo real quick. I thought I had those pulled up, but for whatever reason, Meta is not giving me those expectations on Seeking Alpha. So now I got to go somewhere else. Let's see. Estimated earnings per share. The average estimated earnings per share, $2.03, $27.65 billion in revenue. That's according to Yahoo Finance. Is what we're expected on revenue and earnings per share from Meta. This was there's a news article from Jason Ayak, is a Seeking Alpha news editor, says the potential market effect will be weighted against a likely contraction in the sales for the fourth straight quarter. Analyst expectations for earnings per share are $1.95. I just told you that Yahoo's got it for $2.03, so there's give or take there. That's down 28.5% year over year on revenues, seen dipping 0.9% to $27.7 billion. Now, this is interesting because we saw from Alphabet yesterday that there was a slowing in certain areas of advertising. So we'll see what Meta has to say. YouTube, of course, is slowing down a ton. I'll be the first one to tell you that, somebody who's in it and on it every day. I can tell you that slowed down considerably, to the point to where now I'm looking for, day jobs and, until things turn around. So, which, by the way, anybody's hiring that's looking for remote work, particularly in social media, I'm your guy. Let me know. I am looking. So, I'm looking at remote financial advisor positions. I've actually applied to quite a few of them. So anybody's out there, I put a poll in the community tab. It's interesting. A lot of you guys were like, oh, yeah, I'll support you. Not moving a dime over to B. Smith. But you got my support, bro. No, I appreciate that. And honestly, I really do. I do respect that. I mean, if I was in anybody else's situation, I probably would not be moving my money over to some guy on YouTube either. So, but I actually was surprised. There's a healthy amount of people that said that they would. Whether they would or not is neither here is we'll see, but definitely thinking about it. So let me know what you guys are thinking about. YouTube isn't slowing down, says Turk Boy. YouTube finance gurus are, because so many people have lost money watching them that they're giving up. I hate to tell you this, but if you didn't tune into last night's earnings report, then I'm here to tell you that that's not the truth. Turk Boy, it's slowing down everywhere. Go look at the earnings report yesterday. Yeah, the finance side's been hit hard, of course, but it's not just finance YouTube. It's all finance. CNBC's ratings have also slowed down, and don't think that I haven't looked that up myself. Don't test me on research. Looking at Darren F. Am I licensed? No, I used to be. Let it expire, and now I'm going back. Going back to what I know. But it doesn't mean that I have to. Like I said, I'm looking for like remote stuff too, because I want to continue to do YouTube. I still want to be here with you guys. And I will, Turk Boy, I will. But yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed. And I was actually like thinking about this. I was like, I could, and we got about 2 minutes before the close, so I don't want to go too crazy on this, but I could end up getting licensed and leveraging my community. Why haven't I done this? Why didn't I do this a while ago? Right. And really, ultimately, the big reason was because I had so much time invested in YouTube and with Christian and how much we were putting towards content that it just, I didn't have time for that. But now it's kind of like, well, things are slowing down. Might as well, go back to what I know and get licensed again and see what happens. Not saying that that's going to be a surefire thing, but it's certainly something that I'm strongly looking at, especially if that's something that interests you guys. Might give me a little bit more credibility, I have to be careful because there are some institutions that won't let me do YouTube and be a financial advisor or be licensed, and for that matter, because you have to be sponsored by an institution, FINRA licensed institution. I can't just be licensed and just sit out here by myself as a licensed advisor. I have to be sponsored by one of them. So and that's why I quit my last job as when I was licensed, because that corporation didn't allow me to be on YouTube, and I was only limited to 3 trades a month because it was corporate policy. So that's the other thing I need to sift through. I'm like, I don't want to give up YouTube. That's not happening. But I need to figure something else out too. So kind of like a real estate agent. Didn't know that. Yeah, absolutely. Most financial advisor firms, most financial advisors work solely on commission. Very few of them give you like a base salary. Some of them, like, you can start out as like a customer service rep, call center type thing, which is where I cut my teeth at the last corporation I worked with. And then you get into financial advising and all that stuff. So Acidane says, I don't need to be an FA. We trust what you say. Well, that's the problem is that you might trust what I say, but it ain't keeping the lights on. So I've been no stranger to this. I've been pretty transparent about how business has been going through YouTube. And I'm like, we got to figure out other ways to bring in income. So that's why I'm going that route. Till I can build up my, investment portfolio back up, and to where I can trade every day and not feel like that pressure, because that is a real thing. You don't want to be going back into day trading or investing in general when there's pressure on you. So that's what I'm trying to do with everything that has gone on over the last year and a half. finances have been a little bit strained. So I want to make sure that like I'm bringing in a healthy amount of income so that I can get back to my roots on YouTube and just kind of day trade and do that thing and live off of that. Being able to live off of day trading isn't fun when you're under an immense amount of pressure to just keep going, because you make a loss here and that turns into 10 losses and then you're just like racking your brain. That's another lesson for another time. But let's get on to earnings. We are officially closed. Meta Platforms closed up about 0.8%. Let's take a look at this. Pull up the 5-minute chart so we can see what's happening. There's Meta. Let's pull up Roku as well. There's your 5-minute chart on Roku. That stock is starting to move down. It's now down 1%. I didn't really get to cover Roku, but this is something. There was a stock that actually like beat earnings last time around, and it was one of those situations in which sentiment was so bad it ended up actually being good. We can take a look at Teladoc as well. That's up 0.8% after closing down around 3%. Man, what a fall from grace this stock was. I still like Teladoc for the long term, but they got a lot to work through. eBay, anybody remember eBay? That's still around. That stock closed down 1.5%. And then Waste Management. This is one that I'm actually kind of like excited. I don't want to say excited, but it's just nice to be able to react to something that's normally reporting pre-market. But Waste Management's actually reporting one of the better performing stocks over the last 5 years, believe it or not. It's expensive. It's actually trading at like 30 times next year's earnings. So it is expensive, but you look at this weekly chart. It's a damn good stock. It's a damn good company. Since the pandemic even, and even with this downturn that it's had, along with the rest of the market, it's remained relatively resilient. How many stocks have we seen come back and test pandemic lows? Waste Management hasn't even thought about doing that. So it's a great stock. It's a great long-term hold. If you're looking for a long-term portfolio, something to put in there, and you haven't put Waste Management in it yet, take a look. Might be worth it to you, just because the performance has been amazing. And I mean, listen, as long as we're making trash, they're staying in business. So, and that also gives them pricing power. So they've been quite resilient, and I would venture to say, make the claim that it is also recession resistant. Recession or not, people are still going to make trash, and it's still going to be a thing. So continue to look at this. Here's your 5-minute chart on Waste Management. We'll go back to Meta. That's starting to move up here, so it looks like those earnings may be out. Lord Fenner says that's why I voted for Waste Management. Oh, okay. Yeah, I put Waste Management in the poll. 7%? I guess that's not surprising. Not surprising that 63% of you are looking forward to Meta. But hit that thumbs up if you're enjoying the stream so far. But yeah, I'm with you, Lord Fenrir. I'm with you on this. Waste Management's like, out of all of those stocks that I put on there, Waste Management's the best, safest one to hang on to. Especially for a long term. Ain't going anywhere. All right, so let's see here. Looking at Meta Platforms, you can see that stock starting to move up a little bit. I'm trying to see if it's just on low volume BS or if there's actual numbers out. Let's see here. I don't see any numbers out for Meta yet. So it looks like it could just be aftermarket pre-earnings BS. Looks to be that way. I don't really see anything moving so far on that. Let's take a look at Roku. Okay, it looks like Roku's numbers are indeed out. That's up 3.5% right now after hours. Look at this huge boner. I mean, this reaction was crazy. It sank all the way down to $53 after closing the day at $56.56, and then spiked up and still looks like it's moving up. It's now at 4.5%. Pretty strong move there for Roku. Finally, Kathy Wood can have a day. All right, looking at Roku. Here we go. They see gross profit at around 335 million. They expect macro uncertainties to persist throughout 2023, which would inherently be bearish. But the stock's up 6%. Committed to delivering positive adjusted EBITDA for fiscal year 2024. They see a 2Q adjusted EBITDA loss of 75 million. The estimated loss was 86. So their guidance is actually quite good, which is one of the big reasons why the stock is up so much. Their guidance came in as at a smaller loss than expected. So the street was expecting 86.1 million in losses from EBITDA for the current quarter that we're in, but Roku's saying 75. So bad, but not as bad as people were expecting. Revenue came in at 741 million versus the 708 estimate. That is really good. They came in at a loss of $1.38 versus $1.48 that was expected. Also really good. So they beat on earnings, they beat on revenue, then they beat on guidance, and that's why the stock's up 6% today. That's the most cut and dry earnings that I think we've had so far. I don't have to decipher much with this. They're doing good. They're not doing great. They're just doing good. They're doing better than what the street thought. And so that is interesting. Speaking of interesting in earnings, if you guys haven't been keeping track of the 138 companies, that's before today, that have reported so far, is 28% of the S&P 500. Overall earnings results are beating estimates by a median of 7%, and 78% of those reporting are beating estimates. On the top line, overall results are beating estimates by median of 4%, and 71% of those reporting are beating estimates. And it kind of falls in line with my theories and my thoughts on what's been going on in the macro space and kind of like taking that contrarian approach. There's been a ton of fear in the market, and it's not without reason, not without good reason. But I think that it's the fear is a little bit overblown. And we're the fear index, a lot of the bearishness that's been coming from the street has been actually even higher than what we saw during 2008 and even 2001, which is very interesting. So are we due for some sort of downturn? Potentially. I'm not ruling that out. Look at Roku, still climbing here. It's now up 7.5%. But companies are still doing okay. I wouldn't say that they're doing great, but they're still doing okay. They're slowing down just as we expected them to, but not as much as what people were expecting. So Meta platform still kind of just chilling here, not really too much movement. Roku is so far the big mover in after hours trading. Yeah, it's still climbing here. It's now went up as high as 7.5% on an earnings beat, a revenue beat, and guidance beat as well. So they're still expecting losses, just not as bad as what they originally had, as the street had originally planned. But man, BTC just went ugly. Yeah, I actually reported on that right as the stream started, Lord Fenrir. I don't know what's going on with Bitcoin. We can just check in on that real quick. Yeah, now it's negative. It was up, what, 1,600 points? This tanked. Anybody got any idea why? We'll come back to this. Obviously, we're going to be reacting to earnings. That's why you guys are here. Still waiting on Meta. But I'm really curious. Bitcoin was hella green, and now it's hella red within like minutes. Within minutes, it tanked. That very interesting movement there. Acidane says no one's buying Roku. Well, clearly the report says they are. Hit that thumbs up, guys, if you're enjoying the stream so far. As of right now, Roku's reported, and it looks like eBay might have reported too. Look at that boner candle. Hello. Stock's up 6.2%. People still using eBay. Imagine that. Let's take a look at eBay's numbers and see what we got. Looks like they came in adjusted earnings per share $1.11. The estimate was $1.07. Revenue came in at $2.5 billion. The expectation was 2.48. So they beat, but not by a ton. For Q2, the current quarter that we're in, looks like 96 to $1.01 earnings per share as estimated from eBay. The expectation from the street was 99 cents. So on the higher end of that, they see Q2 net revenues 2.47 billion to 2.54. The expectation from the street was 2.43. So that is a big beat on revenue. Board has declared a cash dividend of 25 cents a share, which I believe is normal. So eBay having a pretty good quarter as well. And guidance ain't too bad either. Can you believe this? eBay's still churning out billions of dollars in revenue every year. I thought eBay was dead. I really did. And, you know, they're not what they once were, but that's still a solid ass company. Let me know in the comments if you still use eBay on the reg. So those are your numbers for eBay. It looks like Meta's started to move now too. Let's take a look here. Huge move on Meta platforms. That's now up 8%. Holy shitballs. All right. Let's see the numbers on Meta. You got to let me finish talking about one thing before I move on to the next, guys. I hear you. I hear you. You got to help me out though. You got to bear with me. Okay. Looks like Meta platforms ad revenue came in at $28.1 billion versus the $26.76 that was expected. They see Q1 earnings per share, $2.20 versus the $2.01 that was expected. Damn, they crushed those earnings. They beat revenue by $1.5 billion. About $1.5 billion they beat revenue, and they crushed earnings per share. Remember what I had talked to you guys about at the top of the show, the year of efficiency. A lot of this has to do with them cutting costs, and we heard from them about the 20,000 jobs that they were cutting. So this all plays into their profit margin. This is why the company came in at $2.20 per share. But the ad revenue coming in higher than expected is certainly something to keep in mind. We heard that, search revenue from search from Alphabet was higher than expected on yesterday's earnings, while YouTube ad revenue was actually down. But Meta Platforms kind of falls in line now with what they were saying about search revenue. So this is interesting. Pretty huge move for Meta. So $2.20 versus the $2.01 or $1.96, depending on where you're getting information from. Either way, they smashed earnings. And then also coming in much higher than expectations on revenue, $28.7 billion versus the $27.5. That's according to Market Rebellion. That is huge move. Huge move. Now the stock's up nearly 8% as a result. Let's take a look. Actually, it's up now 10%. God damn. That is insane. Don says, imagine not following the Patreon account and not being in Microsoft and Meta. Just saying. Yes, absolutely. So Don Fran from the Don Fran Show made mention of that, as well as Don and I have been very much I would stop short at saying that we were pounding the table on Meta platforms in October. And Don will be the first one to tell you too. We've been pounding the table on Meta platforms since October, when it was valued at 12 times next year's earnings, and we were like, this is a joke. It's only up 120% since then. If you guys missed out on that, you could have hung out with us in our Patreon, our patreon.com/ownthechaos. It starts at $5 a month. And we were shouting to the rooftops at Meta for $5 a month. You could have paid for Patreon for the rest of your life if you'd have just at least taken a look at Meta and saw it for what it was. So go check it out. You get access to these charts, these zones that Don has already laid out for you. And you get access to our Discord, exclusive content, trade alerts, all that stuff is over at patreon.com/ownthechaos. Help support the channel. We certainly would appreciate it. And I would venture to say, I know I'm a little biased, but that we provide a ton of value for what you get too. So would appreciate that. And if you don't want to do that, at least at the very least, hit the thumbs up. But man, how about Meta? What a move. Mr. DeSoto says, I will never, ever give Facebook one dime. Well, that's a shame because they could have given you lots of dimes on that dime that you could have given them. I understand the moral reasons as to why people don't invest in certain companies. I can respect and I can appreciate that. But if they would have paid you 2 dimes for the 1 dime that you put into it, and you could have just taken your money and been like, thanks, I'm out, even though I still hate you. Mr. DeSoto says, don't care. Again, I can respect that. I'm not going to say anything to that. But, man, when your funny prank's going wrong, it says, well, when you're making money on it, then you can't complain. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of grief when I talked about, military defense stocks during the Ukraine and Russia thing. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not doing you guys a service if I don't talk about it, right? Like, these stocks are going to move whether I talk about it or not because of what's going on in the world. So it's your choice as to whether or not you want to invest in that, right? But I'm here to, and I even preface it in the video. I was like, listen, this isn't something that I'm celebrating. I'm not saying that we should be taking advantage of people dying, but at the end of the day, the U.S. government is giving away the last 10 years of production on military equipment and firepower and whatever else. So the next 10 years is going to be huge for their stocks, such as Lockheed Martin. And by the way, Lockheed Martin hit all-time highs like last week. So, yeah, it sucks. It's a shitty situation, but are we going to sit here and really just watch it go up and not do anything? I mean, that's a personal decision, of course. But like I said, I feel like I'd be doing it a disservice if I just ignored it and didn't say anything about it. But Darren says, do I stream through Facebook and other platforms that can increase your revenue with your followers that you have there? I don't stream through Facebook. I've tried streaming through Twitter. That hasn't really done much. I actually applied for the Twitter subscription, so we'll see where that goes. I get like 100% of subscriptions, which is mind-blowing on Twitter. We'll see how long that Elon actually allows that to happen. But I've really started to look into Twitter a lot more. But Facebook doesn't seem like it's discoverable. Like YouTube's the only real platform that I've found that I can create content that becomes discoverable. Like I'm sure there's probably a lot of people right now who are tuning in today that have never been to the channel before. And that's because YouTube's algorithm, while it has its flaws, it's the best algorithm in all of social media. But I hear what you're saying. I definitely want to try to stream on other platforms. The other thing is that there's some platforms that won't let you stream on their platforms if you're simulcasting, which is so stupid. Okay, so getting back to earnings, Meta crushed it. They came in and absolutely smashed earnings expectations. Earnings per share they crushed. Revenue they crushed, and really ad revenue is what the real kicker is here for Meta. That's why the stock's now up 8%. It was up nearly 10% after hours. They see Q2 revenue at $29.5 billion to $32 billion. The estimate there was 29.48. So strongly beating guidance for the current quarter that we're in. They see the fiscal year total expenses 86 to 90 billion, saw 86 to 92 from the street. So falling right in line with that. But again, earnings per share $2.20. The expectation was around $2. Revenue came in at $28.65 billion. The estimate there was around 26.5. So smashing earnings expectations for Q1 and smashing guidance numbers for Q2. That is amazing. That is amazing. Roku came in and did the same thing. Let's check out Roku as well. That's actually given back a lot of the gains that it had, but they came in and actually had good guidance. They came in with really good earnings numbers too. So kind of a little bit of a shocker to see this all given back. It must have something to do with growth. I don't know. Something was in that report that somebody didn't like. but it was up around 6%. So we'll see if that comes back. It's still technically green here, but it's about to go red. We'll keep an eye on that one. And Waste Management, let's see if there's move on that. That's an interesting looking candle on Waste Management. Looks like those numbers are in, though. Let's see if we can take a look at Waste Management. eBay came in and crushed earnings as well. Yes, eBay is still relevant, apparently. Waste Management. Expecting to come in. Let's see. Doesn't look like those numbers are in for Waste Management just yet. I don't know. No numbers for Waste Management yet. eBay came in, though. Let's take a look at eBay. I don't know why Waste Management doesn't have their numbers out. It looks like there's some sort of, I don't know what's going on there. eBay, it's up 4.5%. Great guidance, great earnings beats. They're still bringing in billions of dollars a year, which is crazy to me. Is it, who's like buying and selling on eBay? I honestly want to know. Like, is it just grandma at this point? Like, is grandma and grandpa playing on eBay, or are there actual young people out there? People my age and younger. Are you still buying shit on eBay? I gotta know. Oleg says, with that big tech heavy beats and S&P earnings per share more oversold and dirt cheap. I just lost. Oh, did I lose it? Where'd it go? Oh yeah. At today's levels, rally to all-time highs will be inevitable. I'm not sure about that, Oleg, but it certainly certainly plays into their favor, right? We could take a look at the NASDAQ. Here's NASDAQ right now. NASDAQ futures are up here on the Meta News, and obviously huge move on the Meta News here. Right out the gate. This is, sheesh. I mean, pretty decent move going into the close on futures. Yeah. But, yeah, NASDAQ's looking pretty damn good. Obviously, Microsoft and Alphabet certainly helped it out today. And then Meta is going to help it out tomorrow, even going into overnight. I mean, tech is back as far as I'm concerned. Those numbers on Meta is damn good. Let's go back and look at that. Jesus, it's still going up. It's now up 9% after hours. Guys, this is the Meta that was up 68% going into the end of the day today. Year to date. Year to date up 68%. And now it's up 77%. Holy shit balls, man. YouTube ad blocker hurts Google ad revenues. It does. That's why I just have YouTube Premium. I still get paid from YouTube Premium subscribers. It's pennies, but I still get paid from them. Funny pranks gone wrong. Not giving YouTube any money. Well, then just give it to me. Whatever money you wanted to give to YouTube, just give it to me. How about that? Just put it in a Patreon. Roku earnings per share is missed by a penny. Did it? I didn't see that. Let me double check. Let's see. I thought they beat. Yeah, they beat by 10 cents. I don't know what you're talking about there. GAAP earnings per share of a loss of $1.38. They beat that by 10 cents. Revenue came in for Roku of $740.99 million. That's a 1% year-over-year growth. They beat estimates there by $33.4 million. Platform revenue was $635 million, down 1% year-over-year. Gross profit was $338 million, which is actually down 7% year-over-year. So these aren't like great numbers for Roku, but they're better than what was expected. And so that's what I was kind of talking about. I was like, this is not going to be great, but it's going to be better than it could be bad, but not as bad as people thought. And so that's why the stock actually ended up moving up. And then somehow it ended up moving down. Check back in on Roku. It is, yeah, not looking great. TDOC. Teldoc's looking great. That's up 5%. We haven't talked about Teladoc yet this afternoon. Teladoc, another Kathy Wood special, is, let's see here. It's up like $1.23 right now. Pretty decent move. Reported first quarter earnings loss of $1.38 per share, missing the street's estimate of $1.37. So they looks like they might have missed on earnings. Let's see what we got here. No, according to Seeking Alpha, they beat by 8 cents. So Seeking Alpha is saying that the loss of 42 is the actual earnings per share. The estimated earnings per share was a loss of 50 cents. So they came in a loss of 42, so that's better than expected. Revenue came in at $629.24 million. That's up 11.3% year over year. They beat that expectation by 11 mil. Results for the first quarter of 23 included stock-based compensation expense of $46 million or 28 cents per share, restructuring costs of $8.1 million or 5 cents per share, primarily related to severance and amortization of acquired intangibles of $50.3 million or 31 cents per share. Revenue guidance came in higher than expected, 635 to 660 versus the 642 that was expected. So those are really good numbers. Net loss per share is expected to come in at a loss of 55 to 45 cents versus 37-cent consensus. So that's a miss on guidance for profitability. But fiscal year 23 guidance revenue, 2.575 to 2.675 billion, 2.6 was the consensus, so that's basically in line. Net loss per share is expected to come in at $1.70, $1.25, $1.31 is expected. So a little bit higher on profitability, or a little bit of a miss on profitability for guidance. But for this quarter, it actually beat. So that's why the stock's up nearly 5% after hours. So not a fantastic quarter, but it's a great quarter for what was expected to come in. Alex Ramirez says, eBay is great. I'd be curious to see Alex says, I'm old. I'm an 80s kid. Hey, easy on that shit. I'm an 80s kid too, man. But I ain't living on eBay. I haven't been on eBay in probably a decade. Michelle Muir says, I buy random things on eBay that you can't find in stores. Okay, that's fair. Literally waiting to move my new house so I can start selling on eBay again. No other platform is good for used products. Okay, I stand corrected. Facebook Marketplace is for bulky, eBay for small collectibles. Okay. Lord Fenner says eBay Motors is still pretty strong. Is it really? I mean, I remember being on eBay Motors for hours trying to find my dream car. I would look on eBay Motors forever for a Mark IV Supra. Like every day for maybe a year, I was trying to get myself a Mark IV Supra. Ended up buying a Jeep, and the rest is history there. But, yeah, I wanted a Mark IV Supra real bad. Twin turbo, 5-speed, or 6-speed, whatever. But that's what I wanted. I still want one of them. Mr. DeSoto bought some silver coins and stamps on eBay. Mr. DeSoto, that is the stereotypical, like, that's what I was looking for. Give me the old person buy. Silver coins and stamps on eBay. But that was about 10 years ago. Okay, fair enough. Haven't logged on in ages. That's where I'm too. But the silver coins and stamps just screams I'm an old man, even if you're not an old man. But that is hilarious. It just made me chuckle. Makari is meh. Excited with these tech numbers. Can't wait for Amazon this week. Yes, Amazon's also going to be reporting this week. Mr. DeSoto, I hope you know I'm not picking on you. It's just it just made me laugh. Oh, God. That was so funny. That was hilarious. Yes. Amazon's tomorrow. Amazon's going to be reporting tomorrow. We have huge earnings tomorrow, too. Going to be another banger. We got Amazon, Intel, Snap, Cloudflare, I'm pumped for Cloudflare. Cloudflare last quarter just knocked it out of the park. Pinterest is also tomorrow. Pre-market, we have American Airlines, Caterpillar, Eli Lilly, Southwest, MasterCard, Crocs, which, oh my God. Crocs? Has anybody looked at Crocs lately? What? Mr. DeSoto's a boomer? Listen, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh. And I know that you're a longtime fan, so I love you, brother. I appreciate you being so honest about it. That is so funny. Okay. Where was it going? Crocs. Let's look at Crocs here. Look at this. Look at this weekly chart on Crocs. What a move. We're getting close to all-time highs again. We are at 52-week highs, if I'm not mistaken, on Crocs. And it is just, it's still unbelievable. They have earnings tomorrow before the bell. Estimated earnings per share, $215, $857.76 million in revenue. It's not even expensive, okay? The stock's up 127%. Year to date, it's up 38%. Growth here is at 54%. Profitability is at 52%. So that's a gross profit margin. And so everything's good about this stock. Everything. The company is on fire. Guess what the valuation is? $9 billion. They're trading at 13 times next year's earnings, Crocs is. You want to compare that to Nike, Under Armour, or any of its other competitors, Lululemon, they're all trading at 40 times. And Crocs is destroying them. You can laugh all you want at Crocs, but goddamn if they aren't just crushing it right now. So they come out with earnings tomorrow. I'm going to look like a big fool if they come in and miss on expectations, but I would be shocked if they did. Absolutely shocked if they did. But this weekly chart is nuts. And the last 2 weeks on Crocs has been crazy, but virtually since last year, it's been crazy. Over the last year, they're up 127%. Last 52 weeks. So yeah, it did hit 52-week highs this week on Crocs. In fact, I think it was today. So they are crushing it, guys. Does Crocs have a dividend? I don't think so. No, Crocs does not have a dividend. They're still too much in growth mode to probably even care about dividends. No, they don't have dividend. Lord Fenner says, I love the Super, but my favorite requires a couple higher tax brackets. Yeah. Fat Man Zoom loves some Crocs. Fat Man Zoom loved the Crocs stock. He didn't love himself some Crocs. And in fact, I ended up buying Fat Man Zoom some tie-dye Crocs. And he actually sported them. He was good about it. He actually wore them. He wore them out in public. Your cunt says, are you kidding me? I am not kidding you. I am not kidding you. Crocs is going to crush it. Enrique Caro says, get off my eBay lawn. Yeah, that's hilarious. Uncultured currency. eBay was great in 1998. Apparently it's still great, but it was great in 1998. Yeah, like pre-Facebook, it was crushing it. My dream car is a Supra, but ended up buying a Jeep Wrangler TJ, which is the most beautiful Jeep ever, says Mupoko. Bro, I literally did the exact same thing. I bought a yellow TJ instead, and I love that thing. Gave it a 3-inch lift, put 33-inch tires on there, and had a blast in that thing. And I've been buying Jeeps ever since. Now I have a 2021 Gladiator Rubicon, and it is an absolute monster. 39-inch tires. It's huge. It's a big old monster truck. Buy and sell a lot on eBay, says Savvy Social Show. Yeah, hit that thumbs up. Yesterday I had 100 likes, no problem. Can we get the thumbs up? Can we get to 100 likes today? I certainly would appreciate it. I love Crocs stock, not the shoes. I love the shoes. I love both. You know what? Actually, the Crocs tennis shoes are also comfortable AF. If you haven't tried the Crocs tennis shoes, maybe the clogs aren't your speed, which I can respect. They're not a pretty shoe, but they are comfortable AF. But the tennis shoe, the Crocs tennis shoe, I'm telling you, you're missing out. I used to make Uncultured Currency says I used to make fun of people wearing Crocs until I tried them on. Raise your hand if you are Uncultured Currency right now. Because that was 100% me. I looked at everybody wearing Crocs and I was like, get the hell out of here. Right? Like, I ain't wearing one of them. I am not doing it. And then Christian bought me my first pair of Crocs, and it was over after that. Then I just, and they were like the fleece line Crocs. And that was it. That was it. Fat Man Zoom bought me my first pair of Crocs, and it was over. It was over after that. So I am that guy. I am that guy that made fun of people who wore Crocs, and then I tried them on, and then that was over. Your cunt says I'm going to buy Crocs. Amazon earnings tomorrow. Your thoughts on Amazon? Yeah, let's take a look at that. So Amazon does have earnings tomorrow. I will be live for that, of course. I think it's probably more of the same. Look, if eBay's coming in and having a good quarter, why can't Amazon? Why can't they? This is your weekly chart. They just moved up into this next zone at around, what is this, $107 a share. They really have had a really nice bounce back from $83 at the beginning of the year. So since the beginning of the year, Amazon actually hasn't been doing half bad. We look at Amazon as a stock, and year to date, it's up 22%. The thing I have against this, which is what I don't have on eBay, actually, let me just double check eBay's valuation here. They're trading at, eBay's trading at 10 times next year's earnings. Amazon's trading at 72 times. It's, I hesitate to be like, I don't like Amazon, but at 72 times, that's higher than Microsoft, that's higher than Apple, that's higher than Facebook, that's higher than Amazon, that's higher than Tesla. Tesla's at 50 times, and it's probably lower now than that. But that valuation is just stupid. You know? Like, that's the part that kind of gets me. Profitability, though, is really good. It's at 44%. Gross profit margins at 44%. But it's still just not, I mean, the only thing that's got going for it is a momentum. But I think they could beat earnings. Estimated earnings per share is 22 cents, $124.57 billion, which is absolutely stupid. That's a stupid number. 3 upward revisions to 14 down. That's my only hang up with Amazon is that valuation. It's so high. It's so stinking high, man. Shane, come back tomorrow and ask me about SoFi. I'll give my preview on SoFi tomorrow. Crocs are straight overpriced garbage. How dare you, Turk boy? You wear this for more than a couple of days and your ankles and knees will never forgive you. I got back problems and I've never had a problem with wearing Crocs all day, every day. So I have to beg to differ on that one. Gladiator is the ugliest truck ever. Raptor is a truck. The Raptor can't do the same off-road things that the Gladiator can. Just putting that out there. I've done some serious rock crawling in the Gladiator, and it ain't doing what independent axles are going to do off-road. I will admit that the Gladiator isn't going to tow what a F-150 is going to tow. It ain't going to do the same truck things. When it comes to off-road capability and it has a bed, it's awesome. I love my Gladiator. Love it. And I have to admit that it ain't the prettiest thing. It depends on like what you look. If you look at the base model Gladiator that's just riding around on road tires, yeah, it looks like shit. But my Gladiator looks awesome because it's got 39-inch tires on it. And it's lifted. And it's badass. And yes, I'm biased, and I don't give a shit. GDP tomorrow could hurt. Yeah, so GDP gets released tomorrow, what, 8:30, I think? So that's certainly going to play a factor in tomorrow's market performance. We'll have to watch. But I'm still here for the pullback. I'm here for it. Lord Fender says Crocs are good for the pool and fishing and the beach. Crocs are good for the beach, too. The Raptor is a cobbled together trophy want to be. They look like crap. In all fairness, the Gladiator is the front half of a Wrangler and the back half of a Ram, and they smashed it together. It's a Frankenstein truck. But the one thing that's good is that like I could put those 39-inch tires on it, and it has the Ram brakes. So like the 1500 Ram brakes. So I don't have to upgrade the brakes at all. It still stops on a dime. So I was here for that too. Can't do that on the Wranglers. I think you need to upgrade the brakes on the Wranglers to like have the same brake performance. But so I can't say much about the cobbled together trophy wannabe stuff as far as the Raptor's concerned. Because of the Frankenstein that the Gladiator is for sure. But I still love my Gladiator. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's so capable. It's crazy. All right. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. You guys are amazing. Again, if you want to show support, hit that like button. If you do nothing else. I was hoping we'd get to 100 likes today, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. That's okay. Hit up the Patreon at patreon.com/ownthechaos. You get access to, sorry, I had like a complete brain. Did anybody see that? There's literally like fart that came out of my ear. I just like stopped. The actual brain fart you watched in real life. Turk Boy, I'm so sorry about IPR. Ask me tomorrow. I will get to that. I promise I will. Yes, go to patreon.com/ownthechaos. Get access to our Discord, Don's custom charts, trade alerts, access to exclusive content that you won't see anywhere else other than on Patreon. And boom, thank you so much for the 100 likes. I certainly appreciate it. Thanks, guys. You are the best. I love you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. A huge day for earnings, so you're not going to miss it. And with that being said, have a great night. Love you all. See ya.